This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Right, we are ready to rock and roll. Talk a little Miami Dolphins every Friday with the man, the myth, the legend that is Omar Kelly. Are you?
Heard you talking about Squid Games. It's an amazing show.
Okay.
If you haven't watched it on Netflix, you definitely need to watch it. It's riveting. It is.
Like, okay, but what is it about? Because he just told me they just like shoot up a bunch of people in the head or something.
Yeah, it's about these people who are desperate in, I believe, Korea, and how they're basically committing to playing a game. And if they win the game, they get like, I believe it's the equivalent of like $34 million. And only one person gets it and wins. And it takes you on that journey. But basically, you don't win, you get killed.
Like real dead?
Dead.
Like,
I mean, but I don't want to ruin it
like
for you.
DED dead.
You got to watch it. Everybody dies. Everybody dies, but it's a great film. I mean, it's a great series. It's, you know, there is probably going to be no season 2, but it's pretty good, riveting stuff.
How's it legal?
I mean, no, it's not real. It's fictitious.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, you're effing with me here, bro. Come on.
Yeah, no,
I'm thinking like really dead here.
It's Korea. They can do what they want to do. Like, no,
we didn't say North Korea.
Yeah, no, I mean, it doesn't really clarify which part of Korea that they're in, but it's been translated, and the translation is pretty good. You're not reading subtitles.
Are you sure I'm not watching a Godzilla movie like I was when
I was a kid? They voiced over, and it's pretty good. It's really, really good stuff. I can tell you, Squid Games is definitely worth your time.
Okay, all right. Well, you know what? I'm gonna watch it tonight with the wife.
Yeah,
all right. I like it. Weapons X United, thank you, sir, for a little love on the super chat, he says. Appreciate it, coming in from Washington, D.C. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. You guys finally cornered him. You finally got him to give you a half-ass commitment.
Yeah, that's what you wanted. You wanted a half-ass commitment, and you got a half-ass commitment. Okay, are you happy about yourself now?
Yes, I'm happy about myself. I need some happiness because I know on Sunday I'm not going to have a lot of happiness.
Listen, we in the media room, we mocked it by saying, you know, do you love your wife? Like,
right?
Yeah. Like, are you committed to your wife? Yeah. I'm still married to her. Like, yeah, it's, you know.
Yeah, if she happens to be around, I'm committed to her, you know?
Yeah, but if that's my best.
She's over there in that neighborhood and I'm over here in another neighborhood, you know.
If that's my best option, yeah. Like,
are you married to your wife? Yeah, while I'm in the house? Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I'm still here. Like it's basically what it was like. Like, I'm still here? Like, yeah.
It is kind of funny, or not funny. It's weird and twisted that the Panthers had to let go of a coach because he assisted in covering up a alleged sexual assault, whereas the Dolphins are now dealing and trying to acquire a man who is allegedly involved in 22 sexual assaults. This is just so twisted. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing about the Deshaun Watson thing, and I've said this from the beginning: innocent until proven guilty. That's the process of the legal system. When we're talking about arrests and prosecutions, I know the grand jury investigation isn't over, but they don't need that much to create an arrest and an indictment. So I don't know where that's going. And the third point that I will make about Deshaun Watson, who I neither care whether he's here or he's not here, is he will be playing in the NFL again. He will be playing in the NFL probably in 2022, at worst 2023. And barring health, will probably give a franchise, whoever has him, maybe a good 8 years. Like, do you want to be that franchise or do you not want to be that franchise? Also, I'll add another thing. before the sexual assault, the massage gates, the rub and tug saga, this guy was considered a choir boy and a really, somebody that the NFL was building their image around.
Yeah,
So
but that none of that matters, bro. Bill Cosby was America's dad.
yeah, that was pretty bad.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Bill Cosby was like, all of our dads, like people my
yeah.
age. Like that was
Yeah, Bill Cosby
carried us through Fat
gave
Albert.
more parenting wisdom than your own parents.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude. It's like, wow. So, and this has happened throughout the history of time that we've had people that have had the impeccable image and then they ruined it with something that, you're, well, holy crap, I didn't expect that.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the twisted part, dude. I mean, then it
We're
happened.
we're all twisted humans who do sick, sadistic shit sometimes. Like to me,
you should see Sean Stanley attack the breakfast buffet on Sunday at Sports Grill. Yeah, there are some twisted things in life. You're
man,
right.
I need some Sports Grill wings. Every time you mention Sports Grills, I just can't. I don't know if there's anyone close to me anymore.
But if you're home on these road games, why don't you just come on over and I'll treat you to some wings?
Oh, that you know how much work it is. It's
He can go pregame and go hang out with us. And
I need,
wings and then
I need some Sports Grill delivery. That's what I need. I have had Sports Grill in like forever, and they make that double grill wing.
Now he wants to order delivery. He's doing everything not to be with us, Sean.
It's not that.
He's doing. He's just avoiding us, Sean. That's it.
I think he wants us to bring him the wings.
Yeah, that's what he wants. Yes.
It's my work environment. I don't like people talking to me during football games. Like people talk. That's very people don't understand how weird it is to be a reporter covering a game, and especially during the COVID era where we're like covering it from TV, which is even weirder. I need silence to get my thoughts together. But anyway, go ahead.
All right. So now I would imagine even the way he committed to Tua.
Barry Jackson in house.
Barry Jackson's in the house. There he is. All right. Tell him to freaking write about the only show on in South Florida here. That is like over 1.5 million downloads, and he gives loves to everything else except our shows down here.
Does Barry still do a media column?
Well, yeah, when it's negative for us, that's it. It's not when it's positive. He definitely leaves us out of the.
Let's talk about Deshaun Watson, not Barry Jackson.
Yeah, all right. So tell Barry to damn right about our podcast because we got Ira Winderman, we got Omar Kelly, we got Joe Shad, we got Alan Poupart, we got Andy Navarro, and we got Sean Stanley, bro. I mean, seriously.
You doing your thing.
Our thing.
Our thing.
I never say me, I never say that. I always say we because you can't do it by yourself, dude. You can't do anything in life by yourself. You always need some help from other people, man.
So let me ask you this question.
Yes.
Let me interview you.
Yes.
You know what Tuesday's about?
Yes.
3 first-round picks. You making a deal?
That's what I was going to ask you. No, I'm not making the deal. I would never make that deal. Are you kidding me?
You're not making a deal for 3 first-round picks?
I'm not making any deal with them until I find out what the hell's going on with that guy.
Oh, so you're not making a deal no matter what?
No matter what. I would not make that deal. No.
Okay. I can respect it.
Omar, in fact, I find it irresponsible that Stephen Ross has allowed his team to be even included in these conversations. If I owned the team, I would have squashed it from the get-go, and I would have said, hey, we will talk Watson. Once he is cleared of all charges, then we will find out.
Okay.
You can't you can't include yourselves.
According to the Houston Chronicle, that's kind of what they've said, which, it is what it is. I don't care. I don't believe anything anymore.
Omar, you're not making it on November 2nd because nothing's going to be resolved November 2nd.
True. Like I don't believe that. I don't believe that report. I don't believe that report to begin with. So
right. Drew Rosenhaus also 2 weeks before the regular season was like, well, maybe they can resolve the issues. I'm like, Drew, don't you have a law degree? Don't you know that none of this is going to be resolved
money resolves the issue.
But none of this was ever going to be resolved this year.
Okay. Yeah.
This is courts, bro. This is stuff that takes forever.
No, 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 no. The right amount of money can make the civil lawsuits go away. Settlement can make it go away, right?
Yeah, but he doesn't want to just settle because he's then got to pay 22 people. That's a lot of money on top of everything he's spending on that lawyer. It's a lot of money, dude. He might have made a lot of money, but he can lose a lot of money if he has to pay 22 people.
Yeah.
So now, if he feels that he's truly innocent, Omar, then he's going to fight this thing all the way to the end because that's what any of us would do if you really are innocent. Correct?
You just make it go away. Most people.
All right. So let me ask you. So you asked me if you would still do the deal. So is there a part of you that actually thinks this could happen by Tuesday?
Yeah, I do. I do believe it could happen. And I think so. I've gone back and forth, but I think you've come too far. You've embarrassed your organization. You know. Okay, so this thing isn't done this Tuesday. So you're gonna have Tua ask the question every week. Does he feel loved, appreciated, respected by the organization, even though they got a backdoor deal with Deshaun Watson, and you're really just a quarterback temporarily? Like, are we doing that all season long? Is that what we're doing? You know, Flores and his lukewarm praise of Tua and his, lackluster commitment. His teammates, they want to get with Watson too. Like, is that really what you want to do all season long?
I mean, well, that was the funny part about Flo's reasoning with you guys today in the press conference. Like, he's not about distractions, but about allowing the distraction to fester. He has all the power to end it the way Mike Tomlin did, because we did that 2 days ago. We play Flo's comments and we played Mike Tomlin's comments, and we go, that's how you end.
See, but here's the thing. I hate how you people, the media, look at me, you people. I hate how the media portrays it. Oh, why doesn't he just end it? Well, he doesn't end it because he's interested.
Exactly.
He can't say he's interested.
Exactly.
So stop asking him, but he's interested.
Okay, so stop lying that saying Tua is your quarterback.
Tua is his quarterback right now. Right? Well, do you need him to say right now? Will that make you feel better? Like,
yeah. I like honesty. I like it. I'd rather be honest. First of all, like I said before, I think Stephen Ross has screwed this all up.
Stop! Don't put that on Stephen Ross.
Oh,
listen, don't put that on Stephen Ross. I've known Stephen Ross for over a decade. I know him.
Allowing your team to be associated with a guy that has 22.
He just wants to win.
That doesn't matter, Omar. The Blackhawks just wanted to win, so they just swept a sexual assault a case under the rug, and guess what? Everybody just got fired now.
Let me ask you a question. In America, not to say that I believe Deshaun Watson is.
You can't be about winning, Omar.
No. Not to say that I believe Deshaun Watson is innocent, but are we not in America innocent until proven guilty?
Yes.
Isn't that the foundational piece of our legal system and what this country is built on?
Yes.
Why is Deshaun Watson guilty until proven innocent?
Well, at the moment, if you're the Miami Dolphins, that's a burden you don't need to be associated with.
I hear you, but you didn't answer the question. Why is Deshaun? Now, it looks
because
ugly.
You don't know. Omar, because
ugly.
You don't know is why you don't want to associate yourself with him, because if he is guilty, then you will look like a complete idiot for being associated with him. So the prudent thing to do, the smart thing to do, is to stay away from this situation for now.
You want to see media members move fast? Watch this.
Okay.
Gentlemen, lunch is here. Chick-fil-A. Yeah, everybody's moving high. Oh, anyway.
Chick-fil-A, yeah.
Chick-fil-A. Dolphins feed us well, baby. No complaints. First class around here, this organization.
Hell yeah.
In everything.
Yeah, they fed X a little too much this year. Anyway, listen. So the prudent thing to do for an owner right now is just to stay away from this situation, because it's
no. I don't think that's a prudent thing. And here's
how can you say that, dude?
Because I know the reality of the NFL. He'll be playing in the NFL, and
I get that. I get that. I get what you're saying. That in the end, you think that he'll be freed and he'll
yeah,
be cleared and he'll play. But
and he'll remake his
none of
image
us
like
can.
Ben Roethlisberger did, and he'll, and he'll. Big
I
O.
get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. But we still cannot sweep something like this under the rug and still be associated with it. Look what happened right just now in town with the coach from the Panthers.
You're making a
Because
very valid point,
they
but
put winning before human beings at that moment, and they paid the price. So if there's by chance that Deshaun Watson did commit a crime, and now you have acquired a criminal,
mhm.
that's the part you cannot get caught in that, Omar. If
Wouldn't be
you're
the first time. Wouldn't be the first time that we've acquired a criminal. Wouldn't
who
be the
was
last time.
who was the other one?
Oh, plenty. Jimmy Wilson, Cecil Collins.
Yeah, I know, but they weren't involved at the moment in a current case. They were found
Hell,
guilty,
we wanted to sign
and then
Lyle
yeah,
Collins when he was when
no,
he,
no, Lawrence Phillips, dude. I know.
yeah.
I'm with you. I get all that. I get that shady character.
I'm not gonna sit. Listen, this is the NFL. I'm not gonna sit on my high horse and vow morality. You pay murderers, rapists, killers in this league. You cheer them on.
Doesn't make it right.
But it happens.
No, I know, but it doesn't make it right.
Okay, well, I'm not. You don't win championships on morality. You just don't. Ben Roethlisberger's won a championship. He's an accused rapist.
Yeah. No, I get that. I understand that. But he had his day in court. He had his day to get charged. He had his day to be cleared.
And
he got away with
Deshaun
whatever he
Watson will
got
have his
away
day
with.
in court too. Deshaun
Right,
Watson will have.
exactly. And that's what you have to wait for.
You might not. Listen. Eric Bieniemy might get a head coaching job in this next round of cycles, and when he does, Deshaun Watson might be his quarterback, and then you won't get a chance at Deshaun Watson, and then you're right back where you started from, which is basically forced to marry somebody that you're not in love with, and it is what it is. Like, do you want him or not? And they clearly want him.
No, that's not the. I'm not saying whether they want him or not. I'm just saying
they've let themselves be drugged through the
terrible.
mud. They've let themselves be drugged through the mud for 7 weeks.
Okay, so there you go. So you agree with me then? It's mud.
Okay, and you don't let yourself be drugged through the mud if you're not going to wade with the pigs, and they are interested in wading with the pigs.
Okay,
and like we're so far down this loyalty that at this point, how do you turn back now? Like, you're like, oh, let's halt it, let's stop. No,
well, maybe you learn and you say, well, let's do the decent thing.
Yeah, I guess so. They said
let's not insult our female fan base by saying that we're discrediting women right away that are accusing Watson of sexual abuse, because maybe they are right. Maybe they're gold diggers, and maybe they were sexually abused. But if the Dolphins are acquiring Watson, they're basically telling everybody these charges are nothing, and we don't believe these women. That's not really the approach you want to take if you're this organization.
I don't know if acquiring Watson is saying that, but I can understand that perspective. And do me a
favor. Ask your wife that today. Just do me that favor. Ask your wife. Ask your wife if the Dolphins acquire a man that has 22 civil cases and 10 criminal investigations going on for sexual assault. Does that send a message to the female fan base of the Miami Dolphins? And on Sunday, I want to know what your wife says. I want you to ask your wife, okay? Because she's not a sports fan, because I hung out with her, so I could tell that she knows nothing about sports.
She couldn't tell you who Deshaun Watson is. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So you just say, hey, this player's has 22 cases, civil cases, and 10 criminal investigations going on of sexual assault. And the Dolphins are still trying to acquire him. What would that say? What message would that send to the fan base? I would love to see what your wife says, because every woman must feel disgusted by just that, because they don't know if he's guilty or not. You know what I mean? And that's the part that the fact that none of us know, the fact that Bill Cosby, America's dad, could be the monster that he was is shocking to us. So a guy like Watson who looked impeccable, you know what? It's anything is possible because we've
Yeah.
seen that in this world now that anything is freaking possible with almost Martha Stewart. Did you ever think that she would be in jail, dude?
Insider trading, bro.
Yeah,
You
well,
know how
yeah,
many people should be in jail for that?
yeah, you should be. Of course you should be, dude. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's illegal what you're doing. Those are federal crimes. Yes, you should be in all of that. If you deal in stocks and everything else, you would understand that creates a hell of an advantage for somebody, and you could also create hell for other people that will lose a lot of money in the process. So yeah, man, you got to pay the price for that. But again, this is a woman that was like a CEO, and every woman looked at her to fix her house because she's the goddess of all that. And her
And
ass
she's right
moved in.
back on TV right now.
Exactly. I know that. I'm not saying that you don't get second chances. Okay. And first of all, she committed a crime. We don't even know if Watson committed a crime, but at least you have to wait for the day in court or whatever it is, civil court or whatever, for you to then move on to find out if the person really is that person or not. OJ, bro, OJ was loved by everybody. And when we found out that he was a double murderer and he got off, we like freaked out, like, OJ, really, dude? Like, wow, nobody ever saw that coming, that kind of stuff. This happens all the time, dude, with people all over all walks of life that we have an image of them, but we don't really know who the hell they are. Kevin Spacey, bro.
Listen, we've come this far. We've come this far. If you polled people inside the organization, I think that they tell you that they want it to happen. So I'm all aboard. Like, just do it, pull the plug, pull the ripcord, and we'll see what happens legally and performance-wise and with Tua.
There we go. Now we've got Joe's board right there. I like it. All right. How you doing, my man? How you doing on this beautiful afternoon?
Doing well, Big O. Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure, my man. Talk to me for you when you are watching this awkward relationship with the franchise and the quarterback. What goes through your mind? Because it can't be it can't be really nice what's going. Tua can say all the right things, but in his mind, he's got to be incredibly pissed about how all of this is, broken down.
There are certain things about the Dolphins organization that sometimes are unusual or unique. In this case, it appears as though the Dolphins are the only team in on Deshaun Watson, but that's really not their fault. It's because Deshaun Watson is saying, I only want to play for the Miami Dolphins. So I don't really blame them for engaging the Houston Texans on the trade front. I think they have a responsibility to do that. Deshaun Watson has the second best passer rating of any quarterback in NFL history in his career, behind only Patrick Mahomes. So if you have a chance to get the guy who's ranked second all time in passing, quarterback passer rating, you have a responsibility to explore that. So, we can criticize the Dolphins for a lot of things, but this is a business, and there are going to be times where players and coaches are put in uncomfortable situations. It is uncomfortable, but we'll all know on Tuesday if it is true that Tua is the Dolphins quarterback for the rest of the season, and that will relieve some of the pressure. Not to mention, hey, does anybody else go? Does Xavier Howard go? Does Devontae Parker go? Does Preston Williams go? Does Byron Jones go? They could trade anybody, right? It's not just Deshaun.
No, I'm with you there. Now, Joe, let me ask you something. If Miami's the only team, and this is where he wants to go, why the hurry then? Why are you hurried to get him onto a bad roster, pay half a season for a quarterback that you're really going to put at risk more than anything else? Since there's no threat of anybody taking him from you, why not just wait for the offseason That way you wait for everything to take its course in court, and then you also know what the NFL will do, which in a way, if you're only negotiating with yourself, it could actually drive the price down if there's a suspension next year for a certain amount of games. Now you're paying a higher price without having any information and having all the risk. Why not wait till the offseason when all the risk is maybe gone at that point and all the information is out?
Yeah, I mean, that would be an ideal situation that Deshaun Watson isn't traded anywhere, and the Dolphins have the ability to determine if Tagovailoa is better than you and I think and better than they probably think at this time. Maybe his progress accelerates at a rate beyond anyone's expectations. I mean, that's certainly possible. Then the Dolphins wouldn't need to acquire Watson, or perhaps Tua would have played so well that Houston would suddenly have a change of heart and want him included in the trade. But things do change. If the Dolphins go 2-15, does that change Deshaun Watson's opinion about whether or not Miami is the place he actually wants to be? That is a potential risk.
If 1-6 hasn't, if this mess hasn't with the offensive coordinators, with no offensive line coach, if this hasn't convinced him that this is not the place to come, I don't think 1-15 convinces him. By the way, we are talking about the guy that actually thought it was a good idea being Deshaun Watson and calling strange women to come over and rub his ding-a-ling. Like he thought that was going to end really nicely. It was going to end with more than a happy ending. So, this is not the brightest bulb in the chandelier. Let me just say that.
I don't know how smart or not smart Deshaun Watson is. Obviously, it seems he made a bad decision. Maybe at some point we'll learn more about why he made that decision and if he has some sort of problems he needs to work through. But getting back to
they all have a sex addiction, Joe. Yes, that's coming next. Yes, all these guys that cheat and all these guys that do, I have a sex addiction problem. Let me tell you something. Every male pretty much on earth has a sex addiction problem because that's all we think about. So go ahead.
All right, listen, you asked me about the Watson situation and why not wait. Let's just say that the Panthers and the Eagles really have backed off at this time. You would definitely be competing with more teams next offseason. Who knows? The Giants, the Steelers, the Washington football, whatever. So the Dolphins are all about leverage.
My boy out in the West Coast for the Broncos. What's his name, dude? The young guy that's on the beat. Damn it. He and I go back and forth on crypto a lot. He reported that the Broncos are out because of the legal issues. So if the legal issues get resolved, then you're 1,000% right, Joe. They would probably get back in the mix.
And the Dolphins have rolled the dice a lot in free agency and the draft over the last 3 or 4 years, and they've come up craps. They do not often roll a 7 or an 11, right? So with Deshaun Watson, at least you know what the player is. I mean, the caliber of player that you're getting. And, I still think that, I wrote a column in the Palm Beach Post today about how this tells you a lot. The fact that they're allowing the Dolphins to have their name continue to be associated with Watson. What does that tell you? It tells you a lot of things. It tells you how much they respect Watson's talents, Greer and Flores and Ross. It tells you that they're obviously not sold on Tua Tagovailoa. And it tells you that they're in all likelihood willing to take whatever PR hit comes with adding him, which, as I mentioned in my column, will diffuse very quickly after he throws 5 touchdowns. Right or wrong, that's the culture we live in.
You said one thing that I found interesting, that, he could maybe all of a sudden turn around and start to play great football and better than even some of us imagine, all that. But even if that happens, this is not a relationship that's repairable, right? I mean, I would imagine that by now Tua is like, okay, I can't wait to get traded and get the hell out of here. And I would imagine that Lee Steinberg's doing everything in his power to keep his mouth shut and not explode on the Dolphins, like he has let some stuff out of the bag in the past already about Tua. I would imagine he's a little pissed, right? This is a relationship that's pretty much over, correct?
I don't know that I would say that. I mean, any relationship is repairable. There are people who were at the divorce table ready to sign the papers and they changed their mind at the last minute. I mean, Tua desperately wanted to be in South Florida. His agent engineered in large part, this happening. Tank for Tua happened. Tua in Miami happened. Tua wanted to be at a rebuilding franchise. He wanted to live in South Florida. He liked the idea of, joining an organization that he believed was headed in the right direction. So I'm sure this is all a bit jarring for him. He's still a very young man. We forget how young he is. But he, I think, also understands the business side of things. If the Palm Beach Post has an opportunity to hire a very successful, very accomplished, the second greatest sports journalist of all time, I'm sure that they would throw me overboard, and I would say, well, all right, I get it. You hired a guy that's much better than me.
That's that'll never happen, Joe. They can't get rid of you. By the way, Ben Albright, thank you, Gus, for reminding me. It's Ben. Ben does an excellent job out there covering the Broncos. All right, Joe. So I don't know how much conversations you've had with other players off the record, those kind of things. How much has their behavior, do you think, hurt him as a leader in that locker room?
Well, the first thing I think of is that he wasn't voted a captain. Now, there's a lot of details about whether he wanted to be a captain, things that we're not exactly sure every detail of that. But I think the players support him. I think the players support him because he's their leader. You love the one you're with. If Deshaun comes, they'll love Deshaun. And they'll talk about how they don't know anything about the off-the-field stuff. All they're going to do is judge him on how he is in the locker room and how he is on the field, I don't think Tua is, disliked or disrespected like some other quarterbacks we've seen come through.
In your eyes, have they created the environment they need for him to succeed on the field and off the field?
Well, he's got,
how badly did the Dolphins miss on creating that environment here in your eyes?
They drafted his wide receiver, Jalen Waddle. They signed a wide receiver, Will Fuller. They drafted high picks, left tackle, right guard, left guard. They tried to build the Tua wall. Now the Tua wall is missing a few bricks, but they tried to create an offense. They tried to create an offense that suited his skill set. You can argue whether or not it was a mistake to promote dual offensive coordinators and then have the quarterbacks coach actually call the plays reportedly. But it's not as though they didn't want to make this work. And again, I'm not suggesting that there's no chance it will.
By the way, how come we haven't cornered Flo like Len Martez and Dave Hyde cornered Saban into saying, I'm not going to be the Alabama coach? How come we haven't cornered him to that point in these press conferences and put it, why not say you're not trading for Watson and that Tua is the guy from here on out? Why not make that open? Because you guys asked Tua that question, but we're not asking Flo that question. We're kind of dancing around it.
We have a disagreement about this.
We're allowing him to dance around that.
We have a disagreement about this. The first thing is that, in my opinion, Brian Flores' message about the Deshaun Watson trade scenario is going to be consistent. That it's a rumor, that it's hypothetical, that he's not going to talk about rumors and hypotheticals, that he supports Tua, that Tua is his quarterback. That is the message. There is zero chance he will ever say anything else. Now,
no. But you can still corner him and say
he's not going to
say
say
Tua-
we're not trading for Deshaun Watson because there's
Okay,
still a chance they might.
So then say you are committed to Tua long term. Not Tua is our quarterback right now. Tua is our guy. No.
He doesn't. Look, when we ask questions,
we haven't really cornered him that way like we did.
Journalism is not about cornering a person, Orlando. Journalism is not about cornering a person. That's not the objective. That's not the goal.
No, the objective is to get the objective is to get an honest answer out of him, not a misleading answer.
What's the best way to get an honest answer from someone? Okay, it's when the tape recorders aren't on and the video cameras aren't on. All right, number one, that's when you get the honest answer. If the Dolphins wanted to honestly share with us that they were out on Deshaun Watson, they would. They would. They have not, so they are not.
Yeah, no,
totally. I understand that there's this notion out there that we haven't been hard enough on Flo, and I hear it. And we as journalists have talked about it. We respect the opinion. All right, we all try to do the best we can. Sometimes we do better than at other times.
That's why I'm saying that we did it to Saban when Lenny Martez and Dave Hyde did it. They kind of teamed up and kind of left him in a corner where he had to say.
And he lied. I don't think
exactly.
Flo. I hope Flo wouldn't lie. Flo, I think, is smart enough not to lie. He's not going to say we are not trading for Deshaun Watson if there's a chance that they will. So what do you want him to do? You want him to lie?
No, I just want to corner
him. So you just want him to say,
yeah,
there's a chance we're going to trade for Deshaun Watson.
No.
What coach or GM would say that about a player on someone else's roster?
That part, you're 1,000% right. He's not going to say. But the other side of it, you can say, why haven't you made a public commitment that Tua is your guy from here on out?
I'm worried about today's practice. I'm worried about
you are looking forward to building this team around Tua for years to come. I want to hear him say, no, he won't say, no, you have not asked him in that sense. You have not asked him. He has been saying it in the moment, not in the long term.
So listen, why don't you come on Monday's Dolphins video teleconference and ask the way you would like it asked?
I would do that, but then I'm going to look like a complete dick because I'm never there. And all of a sudden I'm coming in to just ask him the hardest question in the book at the moment. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not going to be a really comfortable situation. You know what I'm saying? I'll do it. You know, Joe, you know me. It's not like I won't do it. Okay? You know that. You've been around me long enough. It don't matter to me if it's Pat Riley, if it's Jimmy Johnson. It's
not about not asking the hard questions. When you ask a question, you want to A, be fair, and B, take into consideration what your objective is and what the possible responses are. You don't just throw out any question.
No, but it's not just throwing out any question, because he's kind of danced around it. That's all. We've kind of allowed him to dance around it. That's all I'm saying. We did not allow Saban to dance around it. I'm just saying.
And he'll always be remembered.
And I think if you ask him that question about Tua, he'll say, "Look," and he'll avoid it, and then that's it right there.
Listen,
and you have your, even though we already have our answer.
Brian Flores volunteered earlier this year something along the lines of, write it down, we don't want to trade X.
Yes,
he volunteered that.
Yes, he did.
If he wanted to say that about Tua, he already would have. And
great point.
Thank you.
Great point.
This is not a dumb guy. Brian Flores is a smart guy.
Well, I didn't say he's a dumb guy.
No. What I'm saying is, if he wanted to say it, he would have said it. He's been given numerous opportunities.
Yeah, he's not a dumb guy. He's done a really shitty job of coaching this year, but he's not a dumb guy. There's no doubt about that. I'll say that. I'm not going to ask you for a prediction because, I'm not going to insult you that much.
30-16.
Oh, God. Oh, it's going to be painful. It's going to be painful.
Low of 46, could be worse.
Are you going?
Yeah, man, I go to every game.
Okay, all right. No, I don't know if they're going to send you to Buffalo. I don't know.
No, I
that
go
might
to
be
every
a
game.
favor. That might be a favor they do. Like the Mad Dog would say, when I go to Buffalo, I want a room without a view. I mean, that's just, I mean, they don't like you too much in the Palm Beach Post over there if they're sending you to Buffalo. You know what I'm saying? Although you're probably in Toronto the entire time. Is that what you're doing, Joe?
No, I'll stay in Buffalo. It counterbalances Las Vegas, Tampa, London, New York, Boston. Look, the people of Buffalo are very nice people.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt. It's just
I got myself into trouble once. I made a joke about Tulsa, Oklahoma. I was doing college football live on ESPN, and they're like, you got a sideline assignment. I'm like, yeah, but it's in Tulsa. I said that on the air, and then I was like, oh, man, when I got there, they were so mad at me.
For 11 months, I knew it. It's not a fun thing to walk into work knowing that the guy that's at the top is going to eliminate your salary at the end of the year. And the difference between me and Tua is they never replaced me, because all they've done at 560 and 790 is just get rid of people, but they're not bringing anything in. They got less and less and less is what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like, they just switched 790 to all gambling now. There are no live shows on there anymore. So I understand that part, but it's not. Let me tell you, man, 11 months of walking into that building knowing that the asshole at the top doesn't like you or has to eliminate your salary, whatever it is, dude, that's not a fun feeling to be in for Tua.
No, I understand that. But again, it's not like he hasn't had many opportunities to take it upon himself to go beyond Tua as our starting quarterback, and to add, we're committed to him long term. It's not a big step for him to say that at all. And he's had multiple opportunities to do it, and they refuse to do it. And why do they refuse to do it? Well, pretty obvious, because they're still interested in pulling something off with Deshaun Watson before the trade deadline next Tuesday. And that's why, even if you hold his feet to the fire and, okay, commit one way or the other, chances are you're not gonna get. If we haven't gotten by now, we're committed to as a long-term starter. We need to stop with all that speculation about us making a trade for the quarterback. There's no reason to believe that would change.
Man, that is just to me. Do you think it's affected? Has it affected the locker room at all? Because it's not like they've shown that kind of open support in a way. The players didn't vote him for captain, which is not completely out of place for a young guy like that. But still, it's just, if your coaching staff and front office are already moving on, it's hard for the players he's playing with to look at him and say, no, yeah, you're our leader. You know what I mean? That's a really difficult situation they've put him in.
No, that's fair. But I would take exception with your point about that it's not unusual for a young quarterback to not be a captain, because I did the research, and if memory serves, there were 27 teams that named season captains as opposed to game by game. And out of those 27, only 2 teams did not have their quarterback as one of their captains, and it was the Dolphins and it was the Patriots with Mac Jones. But there were a lot of other rookie quarterbacks, Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, or I don't know if Zach Wilson, I believe, was a captain, and second-year quarterbacks were named captain. So that doesn't apply to me. I do think it was a big deal, but then again, if all the scuttlebutt is your team's trying to replace a guy, trying to go get Deshaun Watson, it's understandable that guys might be hesitant to make this guy their captain. I do think it has some kind of intangible effect, but how much that plays into what's going on the field, I'm not so sure about that. I'm not a
on the field. I don't believe it affects that much, but
No,
in
I
the
don't
locker
either.
room, his command of things, guys are looking at him like, yo, dude, you're not even going to be here next month. You know what I mean? It's like, so it's, Can Tua call somebody out? You know what I mean? Will they respond, or they'll look at him like, "Yo, dude, you're not gonna be here next year." So what? I don't care what you think. That.
No,
kind of
and then you hear all those comments like coming out of training camp from some of my media colleagues about Tua really emerging as a leader and all that. It was like, dude, the guy's a quarterback and he's running the offense. So yeah, there has to be some kind of leadership, because if you're like a wallflower and never say anything, you can't be a quarterback. So that was kind of obvious. That was kind of overplayed. The bottom line is the only thing he can do, and this cliche city here, but is control what he can control and ball out on Sundays. He had a very efficient performance against Atlanta on Sunday. I'm going to tell you here, I'm going to probably piss you off, but I don't think it was breathtakingly spectacular like a lot of people are making it out to be, because everything was short. The pass protection was very good, but what he did very well. He was very efficient, and all he can do is keep stacking games like this, until he's no longer the starting quarterback, whenever that may be.
When we look at this situation with Watson, have you been able to ask around? I know you're not going to get public comments, but behind the scenes, are they worried at all about the PR nightmare that it could cause? You have your section of Neanderthal fans that they're always only going to care about football and what can you do for my team, and I don't care if you're murdering people out in your off time. We have that section of fans, but there's going to be a large section of fans that are going to feel uneasy about this. Female fans, I would imagine, are going to be pretty creepy about this. Sponsors, I wonder what they're going to feel about this. I'm just wondering, have you done any homework on that side of what it could do to the environment? Because whether he's innocent or he's guilty, he's still kind of creepy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just wondering what's the feeling going to be if they do acquire him from all kinds of different people that are tied to this organization.
Okay, well, a couple of things here. Number one, you make a very good point. And as the father of a daughter, as you are, I wouldn't want him anywhere near me, anywhere near my daughter. Having said that, we have to understand, and you've talked about the Neanderthal outlook out there. And unfortunately, what he's being accused of in terms of the fans, sponsors, advertisers, and all that, I would tell you is a lot less egregious than, oh, God forbid, Colin Kaepernick taking a knee during the national anthem.
Possible sexual assault, not as bad as taking a knee.
Am I wrong? I'm not saying that's what it is. It's completely it's completely outrageous, but that's the truth. And then we look at other situations, and this is why I've kind of steered clear of taking a moral high ground, because what he's accused of is completely disgusting. If there's truth to it, he should be out of the NFL for a long, long time, if not forever. But then again, if we're going to start doing that, I mean, hell, I don't see Kansas City fans having an issue with Tyreek Hill, who punched his pregnant girlfriend while he was in college.
Right.
Which to me is kind of just as vile, if I don't want to say more, but it's kind of in the same ballpark of vileness.
It's still disgusting. It's another level of disgusting. Right.
It's completely disgusting. So to me, I think in the nature of fans, I think, there'll be a PR hit. But how long does it last? Does it last until Watson throws 4 touchdowns against New England or against an opponent like that, and then, oops, all of a sudden it's all forgotten? So, right or wrong, that's the way I see it, and I'm not making a judgment on it. I'm just telling you that I think that's pretty much the way it is.
All right, so let me run a totally Oliver Stone thing on your ass here, okay?
Love it, bring it.
I'm going to throw you completely, because and I'm not saying this is what's happening, but I'm just saying the optics of it is kind of what we're seeing here. Okay, in a normal world, I'm going to walk you through a normal world, okay?
Okay.
And I'm not saying that we need to make changes and fire people. I have not gotten to that point, even though I am livid with Flo right now and all the weird ass decisions and things that he's done this year. Like he's got me like completely lost. But I still don't want him fired. I want him to save his damn job and kick ass here in the next 10 weeks. And I want Greer to save his job. But normally,
Okay.
you are the GM. You hire a coach. The coach can't find the right assistant coaches. He's constantly firing. You come up to your third year with expectations. You absolutely flop. A lot of your picks are not playing well. A lot of the people you paid a lot of money to are not playing well. The quarterback apparently has not convinced the coaching staff or the ownership. Normally, in a normal world, when you're 1-6 and probably headed to a 3-win season, everybody gets shit canned. Normally. You mean you drafted a quarterback at 5 and you've given up on him a year later? Get out of here. That's normally what happens. Yet, Barry Jackson reports that everybody's feeling safe about their jobs. And I'm glad because I hope they do survive. But it's still weird that you wouldn't hear about all of that. And so now let's nonchalant move over to Watson. And I know what people all say. Ross makes no decisions. Ross doesn't pressure anybody. But I have a hard time believing that you're just going to easily go over everything that's not working, schemes, players, salaries, quarterback, everything, picks, all of that, and you're going to give up more picks for a player with a shady reputation to try to bail you out. I have a hard time believing that Tua was solely the selection of Greer and Flo now. Like, I don't – it's so weird that you would just gloss over everything and say, yeah, everybody's safe. We're just going to add Watson, and we're just going to move on, and we'll try to fix it from here on out. Dude, normally you get blown out for stuff like this. I'm just saying. So it's really weird how all of this is just going to transition the way we're talking. And if it really is like that, then I have a hard time believing that Tua was only their selection. I'm just saying.
Oh, I don't think you're off the mark there. There's been a lot of scuttlebutt out there that Stephen Ross had his kind of his imprint on that pick. And you know, the big story that's floated around was in 2018. Stephen Ross kind of suggested, hey, how about we trade back from 12 and take Lamar Jackson later in the first round? And he was basically vetoed, and the Dolphins took Minkah Fitzpatrick, who was a terrific
Hell of a player.
Hell of a player. This is a black mark on Flores' resume, the fact that he couldn't make it work and they wound up having to trade him. That's beside the point.
By the way, if they don't know how to build around Tua, they wouldn't have known how to build around Lamar Jackson.
Okay, but let me. Here's my point.
We must give the Ravens and their front office and coaching staff an enormous amount of credit that they are severely disciplined to build the team that Lamar needs in order to succeed. So let's give them credit for that, because I think Lamar would have failed miserably in a lot of other teams and a lot of other situations. I'm just saying.
Had people not been intelligent enough to see what kind of quarterback they need to be in the NFL. Okay, but here's my point, though, to my bigger point. So the Dolphins bypassed Lamar Jackson, and in 2019, the entire league and Stephen Ross watches Lamar Jackson be named NFL MVP when he completely blows up the league. So 2020 comes around, and if Stephen Ross had a jonesing for Tua Tagovailoa, we're actually not thinking that maybe he pushed harder than he pushed for Lamar Jackson after seeing what happened with Jackson. And like I said, and there's been a lot of scuttlebutt that Stephen Ross really wanted Tua. And again, based on what happened with Lamar Jackson, it certainly would make sense for him to have said, listen, guys, I bowed to you on Lamar Jackson. Let's get Tua this time. And as far as point number 2, as far as the idea of keeping the regime, to me, it all boils down to Brian Flores and Chris Greer, because I consider them a tandem. I don't believe that Chris Greer makes personnel decisions without Flo, at the very least, his stamp of approval. That's at the very least.
You're 1,000% right. You're not speculating. You're not guessing. Nothing. They are a tandem. There's no doubt about it.
So to me, you get rid of both of them or you keep both of them. And the thing is, last year, in the second year of a rebuild, quicker than anybody thought, boom, they're 10-6 and they're in playoff contention, controlling their playoff fate heading into the last game of the season. And that, to me, built them a lot of equity. So I can absolutely understand why they're still around, and I can still understand why they would still be around after the end of the season if the Dolphins make some kind of a little move and win some games and become very competitive every week. But in the flip side, of course, if things continue to go south and the Dolphins finish 2-15 or 3-14, then obviously all bets are off, and then I think we easily could see a change.
Yeah, I mean, but again, if there is no change and you're making the trade, I'm just going to say, wow, there's more to this story. I don't know what it is.
Of course.
But there's something going on here. And, you know, when you keep telling me somebody's in charge and they're really not in charge, I just keep getting frustrated with all of that, because then when there's so many chefs in the damn kitchen, you know, I just find it's a very nonchalant way, the way they're moving from, and this isn't like the Rosen pick, or this is the number 5 overall pick in the damn draft, and in a freaking year you've just moved on.
But again, Big O, to me, you're missing the point,
dude. I almost get the feeling like Flo and Greer going, all right, Steve, we gave you your shot. You see, he can't play. We got to move on. And they're like, and Steve's like,
not that he can't play. No, sorry, Big O. I'm going to have to disagree with you here. It's not that Tua can't play, and I don't believe that the Dolphins think that for a second. Okay. It's that they look at Tua, and again, remember the term I used for his game Sunday was very efficient, and based on his physical attributes, to me, I don't know how much higher he can get than that. Okay. Whereas, so in a best case scenario, maybe he becomes a top 15 quarterback in the NFL, and you need parts around him or you're not getting anywhere. Whereas Deshaun Watson is a bona fide, let's say, top 5 quarterback.
Yeah.
Where his issues are cleared up and you can be a contender with him year after year just because of how good of a quarterback is, and settling that position. If you remember the introductory press conference with Flores and Greer.
If you have the team. If not, you can throw 4,800 yards and 33 touchdowns and 7 interceptions, and you win 4 games.
Except I'm going to tell you this. You need a whole lot less pieces around Deshaun Watson than you do around Tua.
You still need an offensive line around Deshaun Watson. Any quarterback you have, you will need an offensive line around Deshaun Watson.
You mean like Tua had on Sunday, which was perfectly acceptable, perfectly fine.
Yeah, for short passes, not for long. Not for long.
I'm sorry. Look back at the game I watched. I rewatched.
Yeah.
Game,
there's
and he had plenty of time to throw the pass. He was pressured, maybe a handful of time. I'm not buying this constant dumping on the offensive line, even after a game when they actually played pretty well. I mean,
yeah,
let's give those guys some credit.
The way you go into that game and every game right now for the Dolphins is that you got to get rid of this football quickly until over a length of time they prove that they can hold for a while. Then you can start going on the deep end and taking deep shots, which, by the way, they don't have a lot of players anyways that can actually do that, except for Waddle right now.
And you also don't have a quarterback who throws the ball downfield very well.
No, you do have a quarterback. The problem is you don't have a running game and you don't have proper receivers to do some of the things that you need to do. But if you get that offensive line working where they actually can give the kid confidence and he can sit back there and really wait, then yeah, he can play the game. I think he can't do. He threw deep in Alabama, dude, but he had linemen in Alabama.
He had 5 seconds to throw every time. But again, Tua needs more help around him than Deshaun Watson, and it's not even close. That's the point I'm trying to make to you. So if the Dolphins have Pro Bowlers at every position on offense, yeah, Tua's going to be great.
No,
but that's not reality.
He's not any Pro Bowlers on every position, but he does need an offensive line. I think he can work with everything else that they have if you give him an offensive line and a running game. He gets that.
And like I said, they had 430 yards against the Falcons. So obviously, the offensive line did some things right. And again, I've been dumping on the offensive line as much as anybody. I absolutely hate the fact that they're getting zero credit for what they did Sunday.
Yeah, well, we'll see this week what the offensive line does instead of facing a Falcon team with no pass rush and is absolutely terrible. Now,
okay,
if this
but Big O, hold on.
If this week Tua drops back with a lot of time to pass, then you're right.
Okay, Big O, and mentioned that the Atlanta has a horrible secondary. So if you're gonna attribute the good performance of the offensive line because they played against a garbage defense, then is it not fair to say that, well, Tua succeeded and played that well because he played against that garbage defense?
Yeah,
it's not just Tua. I mean, okay.
It's part of it. It's part of his success that he played against a bad defense.
Okay.
Obviously this week, but it's a bad team. He played against two bad teams the last 2 weeks.
Correct.
So the offensive line was a little better. The running game was a little better. They used more of a passing running game in 2 weeks ago. This week they were able to actually run the ball. Now, this week against Buffalo, if the line can give them time, then I think you can actually be somewhat competitive. If they can't give them any time and they can't run the ball, then you've got no shot in hell. Right?
True.
So we will find out this week if the line truly has made some progress. Because I've watched Tua play all right at times, like against Arizona, a good defense.
Very good game. I'm saying?
Yeah, he had a very good game. So there are moments and very weak weapons, by the way, in the process while you're doing this. So if this kid actually had some support, I think hey, Drew Brees always had support, dude. That's all I'm saying. Treat him like you treated Drew Brees. Give him the damn line and everything else in a running game, and I think everything else works out. You know what I'm saying?
And so I'm clear on this. I am not suggesting that Tua can become a good quality NFL quarterback. I just think the line between him and Deshaun Watson is very, very clear.
Right. And you don't think he can be elite, is what you're saying. That's all. Right.
Yeah,
that's what you're saying. You're saying he doesn't have the athleticism to be elite. That's what you're saying.
And arm strength.
Yeah, and arm strength. Right. That's what I mean in athleticism and all that. Okay. That's fine. But what's the arm strength difference between Tua and Joe Montana and Tua and Drew Brees and Tua and Fran Tarkenton? You know what I mean? And Tua and Chad Pennington, although Chad had more size than all these guys that I just mentioned, but plenty of guys have had his kind of arm strength and succeeded in the history of football. You're old enough, like I am, to have seen all those guys I talked about.
You're talking outliers, and Fran Tarkenton doesn't apply because Fran Tarkenton can run like a running back.
Well, no, he was a scrambler. I guess he was a scrambler. I get. Well, but Tua can scramble a little bit. He can run around, dude. He makes people miss out of the open.
He's not Fran Tarkenton.
Like he's not Fran or Roger the Dodger. I get that.
Okay, so we're back to Montana and Brees. That's two out of how many quarterbacks?
Montana too.
I said Montana and Brees. So you're talking two out of how many quarterbacks?
There's not.
So you're hoping he becomes that guy. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it's probably not likely. Whereas I know what I'm getting in Deshaun Watson if the Dolphins make the trade.
But you're being unfair on the Tarkenton thing. It's still the same arm. Whether Tarkenton scrambled a little bit more to make the play, the arm strength for Fran Tarkenton and Tua, it's the same thing, dude. There's no difference in arm strength. That's it.
I understand that, except that Fran Tarkenton made a lot of things happen with his legs more than Tua can. Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Staubach did the same thing. Yeah, he was. He also did his share of dancing around a little bit. We could call Tarkenton the poor man's Kyler Murray.
True. Yeah, very poor man. Very poor man.
Very poor man's Kyler Murray. Yeah. Although I mean, Tarkenton was a really good passer. He was very accurate.
Sure, he was very accurate. Yes.
So I got to give him credit there that That I'll give him props. What are you picking this week? A massacre?
Yeah, it's hard to not go with a massacre. Actually, no, I actually do think that the Dolphins will keep it competitive for a while, but then at some point, I mean, look, the game last year in the season finale with Josh Allen and the regulars in the lineup, the Dolphins actually led 7-0 after the first quarter, and then it completely went south. So I do see the possibility of the Dolphins hanging in there for a while. I just don't think in the long run they have enough to pull off the upset.
Follow him on Twitter at Poopart NFL and catch his exceptional work there at Sports Illustrated. Every Doll fan should bookmark that page. Alan, thank you, my brother. Appreciate it.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.